There's a lack of ownership out there right now.
Yes.
There's a massive complexity baked into everything.
Starting with the ownership piece of it, right? We had like my vehicle, like, no, got into an accident, had to be fixed, but I had to take it there. They fixed it supposedly, and meaning the bumper had to be replaced, the headlight, and all the components that go into that had to be replaced. They say they fixed everything. They make it work correctly. I get it. I check it. I'm like, oh no, hey, look, the high beam doesn't work. Okay, it goes back to them. They have no ownership. Oh, well, yes, okay, yeah, we need to program this. I get it again. Oh, well, guess what? Now another piece of it doesn't work because they don't take the full ownership to check everything along the way. It's like they just look at this one little piece. Nope, that piece is fine. I'm good. And they just move along, right? Like they don't look at the big picture. They don't take ownership of, is the quality there encapsulating it, right? And then I have to make sure I take ownership of checking everything and then doing it all over again. And then when you look at it, you sit there and you ask yourself quite often, why are we building in all this complexity into something that used to be years ago? Oh, for a headlight, for example, it now has to be programmed by a computer to do all these things. But, headlights, yes, they've gotten brighter. They're a little better. But in a vehicle, it's still just a light in front of it as you go down the road. It's no longer just change a bulb. You got to program the thing. You got to make it do all these things. And you're just like, really? Does this have to be this way for that piece? Are we just automating and building complexity into systems for no reason?
So if we've got finite resource, God, there's a metaphor, isn't there? But you've got finite resource and someone's waved this liability at you. Now you feel you've got to do it, but actually there's way more important things.
Why aren't people taking ownership, and what are we missing to where they feel like, oh, I'll just let somebody else handle that. They'll take care of it, and pushing that responsibility down the road versus them taking the responsibility and like, oh, I see something wrong. I need to take care of it. I try to teach that with my engineers that, I even work with day to day. Like, hey, look, we might not own that component. We may be working with another team. If you see it, at least raise it and fix it. If it's a 5-minute fix it. It's not that hard.
What is it in people right now that's stopping them from taking that kind of responsibility? They've seen the darn issue, but they didn't take ownership of it. Everyone is so saturated, they're task saturated with features, functions, deliverables, that they are now so ingrained in that when someone does come along and say, hey, I'll take that bit from you, they're quite happy to abdicate it and go, okay, you got it. And therefore your mentoring can almost backfire.
But I don't want to make superheroes on a team, right? Because when that superhero is down sick, then what are you supposed to do, right? He's like, look, we need to bring everybody up to the level. So it's we've gotten to the point where okay, let's make this person, they're becoming too much of a dependency for everyone to go to. Let's make that person less helpful and make these other people struggle a little bit to learn so they level themselves up. These other people aren't going to learn what that person is doing. So it's a multifaceted failure, really.
Wow. And combine that with a busy schedule, we then don't get the time to look back and go, what did we learn, guys? Share where you screwed up.
This security stuff, it's serious. You need to plan in 10% of your time. This isn't we passed our vulnerability stuff. This is a recurring thing. SOC 2 expects this kind of stuff to be consistent.